Hi, it's me, and that's him.
And we studied Deadpool.
By studied, he means we went to the cinema and watched the movie.
Yeah. Isn't that how you study?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Fair warning. There will be spoilers. To stay spoiler free. Video? They're going to click on a video to stay spoiler free. Yeah.
So, first thoughts.
Why are we in such a small room? Oh, about the movie.
Yeah, about the movie.
My bad. But anyway, so Deadpool. I gotta say, as much as I did like it, there was things about it that I didn't like.
Yep. Well, one example.
Well, they relied too much on the whole flashback thingy. I felt like the whole time I was watching it that every time it cut away from the highway scene where he was taking out bad guys, I wanted to see that.
Yep.
Deadpool being a badass. Those bits were awesome and done really well, and he'd just be in the middle of that, and then we'd cut back to the love story, and not to bag the love story, but it kind of slowed the movie down too much for me, and then made me feel like there wasn't enough story that they had after that.
Yeah. What about the flash forward? That was pretty funny. The flash forward was pretty good.
Flash forward.
Into the future. The part that, well, he was a little bit embarrassed about.
That was a bit weird.
bit of fun with the pony.
Yeah.
I thought that was well done because it did get tied in later. It was clever.
Yes.
And yes, it was a nice bit of Deadpool humour there, I reckon.
A bit under the belt.
Yes, a bit under the belt. But yeah, I like that. I personally thought having that as a flash forward as opposed to...
And what I also did like about one of the flashbacks was he broke the fourth wall in the he broke the fourth wall to talk to us and then flashed back and broke the fourth wall in that flashback.
But then mentioned he was doing it.
And he's like, oh, breaking the fourth wall within a fourth wall break.
So the breaking the fourth wall was done well. He definitely stayed true to his character in doing that and made sure you knew that he knew and so that
was good.
That was good.
The one gripe I did have in one of the places was with the flashbacks. It felt like he was filling us in and talking to us, but then it felt like narration.
Yep.
Because it was like, hey, we're flashing back. He kind of paused the movie for us to give us backstory, which was fine in a way, but then it didn't feel like he was talking to us in those points. Yeah. And then at the very end of the movie, he's in the frickin' scene talking, and then he's telling us that they're pulling back for a crane shot or whatever he said. So it kind of...
Yeah, the very end, yeah.
It kind of cut between a little bit, and I'm now realising that technically this narration could just tie to the end credit scene, and that he was talking to us that whole time, and so the narration now makes a little bit more sense, and I feel a little bit better about it. But it did kind of cut between him breaking the fourth wall and talking to us about what's already happened to catch us back up, and
just sounding like he's directing his own film.
Well, not at the directing, it was more just random narration that you sometimes get in movies that... Yeah.
Although I will say, the opening credits in the slow-mo scene were hilarious.
They were brilliant.
And the 20th Century Fox self-deprecation jokes
were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I was loving that. His suit.
His suit was good. Especially the original suit that he had and why that was a problem.
I liked how they tied that. He actually mentions... Well, you're probably wondering why I wear red, and then they tie it back to later in one of the flashbacks with the blind lady. I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, and then he quotes her to somebody else.
Yes, yeah.
So that was clever as well. So that was done well, and so the whole Ryan Reynolds on the front of magazines, the whole...
And one of them was also Hugh Jackman. The Hugh Jackman references were awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, and...
Ties in with the promotion material.
Promotion material with Like especially the Australia Day one where he took the piss out of Australians.
That was great.
Which, well, we think it's hilarious, and I don't think any Australians could get offended by that. It suits our sense of humour anyway. Like it's not something we'd get offended about.
That's also one of the things is the promotional material was done so perfect that, in a way, the movie didn't quite live up to how well it was promoted.
I guess
it was never none of the promotional material was misleading in any way.
No, it was.
No.
There's the poster that says "True Love Never Dies."
No, but it's at the heart of the movie. The story is a love story, so technically, they're not leading you astray.
Okay,
is what I'm saying. Like for people that know who Deadpool is, that kind of made sense.
Yes, people who know who Deadpool is, it makes sense. But people who got conned into it by this is a superhero. Your boyfriend probably told you this is a superhero movie, or your boyfriend told you this is a romance movie. Those people are going to be a bit disappointed.
That's true.
But at the same time, too bad.
Exactly.
This was not a movie for your Marvel fan. This was not a movie for your superhero fan. This was a movie for your Deadpool fans. And that's all.
That is true. And that's what I liked about it, is it's no X-Men Wolverine.
No.
They totally... They did the character right. From what I understand of the character. I mean, I don't know him that well in the comics. But...
I think a lot of people know him more from his additional cameos in, say, computer games and riffing into like TV cartoons as opposed to the original comics.
Yes.
Because he became popular by breaking the fourth wall and just shitting all over everyone else's shows. Primarily Spider-Man.
That is true. And that's why there's the problem with all these kids wanting to see it.
Yeah.
This is not a movie for kids.
Unless they're goats. Because goats just won't get it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Feel free to take your goats.
But
only your baby ones.
So what about the changes in the lore? For example, the Deadpool not being with Weapon X.
Yeah, I wasn't too fond of that.
But at the same time, it was done well. It was done well. And, Negasonic Teenage Warhead is changed, but being a minor character originally...
I don't think it matters.
Doesn't... they said they changed her to be more in line with her own name.
Yes.
And the jokes about her name are in line with the lore. In the comics, it's... one of the characters goes what have we run out of names when they hear her name, and then Deadpool riffs on that a little bit as well. So, yeah, I think overall it's a good character.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed her character for how little screen time, but the little screen time is what made her character likeable.
Yeah, and the interactions with Deadpool were great. The whole kind of stepbrother, stepsister kind of thing. Yes, we have to work together, and him just figuring out that she's not just someone following Colossus around, but she's actually...
an X-Men in her own right, really.
Yeah, in her own right. She is as powerful as you could expect. Especially...
maybe even more.
Yeah.
From some of the inklings that I got, that she might actually be more powerful than Colossus.
Yeah, she seems to be stronger, or it could have just been that matchup.
That's true, yeah.
Because super strength versus Colossus is...
that matchup, yeah.
Yeah, whereas, I don't know, say... Although in the lore she's meant to be a psychic, so I don't know whether they'll bring any of that into it, or they're just going to stick with just the explosions and being a human.
They did that very, very well.
Especially making the elevator for Deadpool. That was hilarious.
That was great.
And the best part about it was it didn't quite work. Deadpool still ended up hanging off the edge of something, being like, shit, this is a good plan... But no. Deadpool cannot get things to go correctly to start with. That's not Deadpool.
No. And the ending when the guy actually admits to him that he can't fix his face. He's just like, so you're telling the guy with the gun to your head the one thing that he wants and is keeping you alive for, he uses all the lie. Who's the stupid one?
Yeah.
And then actually just shoots him as Colossus is trying to tell him to be a hero. He's like, what? You were dragging on!
To which Deadpool replies, I'll look out for my other chances.
Yeah.
After spending the entire movie saying, I'm not a hero, you can't make me a hero. So it sounds like Deadpool is saying, I'm going to find those other 4 occasions and deliberately not be a hero again.
Quite possibly, yes.
Whereas he said it just nicely enough that Colossus will be like, okay, fair enough, you'll do it next time. But I think no. I think Deadpool is going to come back and not be a hero. Just on purpose. Maybe even flashing back to this and being like, oh, this is one of those four occasions, so I can't mess this up. Well, I must be the not hero.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say now. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if they can at all, because I think they are incorporating him into an ensemble film. I'm not sure if they are, but it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
Well, they could just have him as the narrator.
That would be funny enough in his own right.
Like, almost all of the Marvel movies have some narration or some backstory stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But you could pull off Deadpool just interrupting the movie and telling you, I don't know, this person's backstory or why this was the stupidest possible thing they could do. Or even just have Deadpool in the background screwing around. Like, have him walk through the set with a camera. Like, filming it.
The only problem with that is then it drags because could you imagine Deadpool in X-Men Days of Future Past?
Yeah.
He would distract from what's actually happening on screen and turn it from an X-Men movie into a Deadpool movie, even if he's only on screen for like 10 seconds.
But you can.
It'll then be all about Deadpool. And
fine.
You totally.
What if you're putting in the Stan Lee cameo as the other person Stan Lee's talking to?
That would be brilliant.
Because Stan Lee has cameos, you could totally pull off the Stan Lee having a conversation with Deadpool cameo.
Yes.
Or
talking about Stan Lee cameos. Sorry to cut you off. How disappointing was his cameo?
Well, it was better than having him as a poster.
True, but I mean, some people probably disagree with me, but he just was there. He thought of an awesome way. I mean, I think it was you that mentioned it. Having Deadpool even recognise that it's Stan Lee having a cameo in his own movie.
Yeah, that would
have been brilliant.
I would have loved to see that. Maybe they're saving it for later. Maybe they thought about it and went with something different. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to make it too much about Stan Lee. Like we just said, we don't want to put Deadpool or something, make it too much about Deadpool.
But doing it that way would have actually not distracted. It wouldn't have made it so much the Stan Lee cameo. See, now the way it is, him being a DJ of some sort in a strip club.
He seemed to be like the host.
Yeah, the host.
The MC, I think, MC of the strip club.
MC, of the strip club.
Or they should have had the strippers, and then they call out whatever, I think it was Destiny or... No, it was the Innocence kind of name. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. But then they should have had Deadpool, like, wink at the camera, kind of, and look across, and then Stan Lee's the stripper.
The problem was, though, Stan Lee's cameo was actually in probably the heaviest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't really any winking at the camera. It was all actually very plot-driven moment.
Yeah, but that's why it would have worked as a wink at the camera.
That is true, but the problem being, I don't think they wanted to distract away from... They wanted that scene to have some gravitas. Which made sense, but... And that's...
Okay. What about if they did their post-credit scene as Deadpool remembering they forgot to put Stan Lee in the movie?
That would have been great. And then I'm going, hang on, he was in the movie.
Sorry, like they cut his scene, and then like Deadpool's like, we cut Stan Lee, and have a scene that's not in the movie on a TV behind Deadpool, while Deadpool's saying we accidentally cut Stan Lee. That could have been good.
I think we wanted the
cameo to be a joke.
Yeah, and I think we I felt as well. I probably went into the movie a little bit too much thinking there was going to be more winking at the camera. Not necessarily turning and winking at the camera, but a lot more fourth wall breaking, a lot more
I think
comedic breaking of that fourth wall than there was. And so that was, I think, part of the reason why I didn't quite enjoy the movie as much as I was hoping or thought I would.
But maybe they're trying to warm people up.
That's also...
So, because I'm pretty sure, like, Deadpool's going to get another movie.
Or they've already greenlit it.
Yeah, but, like, the thing is, like, it's probably not going to stick at 1, 2. It's probably... Like, they said, this smells like a franchise or whatever. Like, sounds or smell... I can't remember which way they said it.
Yeah.
But they basically, like, this is a franchise. We're going to... It's greenlit. They're going to do a couple more. So maybe they were going to tone it up for the next one. They were just feeling the waters to see how much they could get away with.
That could be it. And that's also where the whole flashback thing, they had to tell the origin story. I just felt like they wasted like 30 minutes of that screen time. Like, I just felt like that whole backstory could have been done in 10 minutes. And it still would have had just as much impact.
Yep, I guess.
And it could have been, or maybe not, it could have still been done by flashbacks, but I just felt like, yes, it was cool because it still had the fourth wall breaking on the top of the freeway for him stopping us and forming us, but I still felt like that scene would have played out so much better as one single scene rather than being broken up with 5-10 minute, no, I don't think any more 10 minutes, but a lengthy flashback when all that flashback could have almost been put at the start in the first 10 minutes.
So basically,
that's my major gripe with it.
Something like, do the slow-mo scene and then do a flashback to maybe you're wondering why I'm flipping in a car so slowly.
Yeah.
Do the flashback there.
Yeah.
The whole flashback there. Then you
continue the.
So you've only done only the slow mo part. Do the entire thing there. Then just go through an entire action sequence.
Yes. I can understand why they didn't, but I just felt, and like I said, this is my own feeling, and other people probably disagree, but I just felt like every time they flashed back, I just went. Oh.
I enjoyed most of the flashback stuff.
I'm not saying the flashback stuff was bad, because all of it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it was still making puns. He was still being himself.
Yes, and but for me, it was just the fact that we're just taking away from this scene that was better. They almost realised, oh crap, the flashback scenes aren't anywhere near as good as this scene. This scene, we need to space it out over the course of the entire movie rather than just in one sort of section because of how cool it was.
Okay, so what if
and
Wade...
maybe it wasn't as long a scene as I thought it was because of that.
What if Wade had done some more jackassery stuff before he became Deadpool in his flashbacks? So, obviously, he was a bit of a dick to the pizza guy and...
That's funny, yes.
Okay, but maybe he needed to do something else, some other stupid stuff. Because he pulled the prank in the bar with the blowjob cocktail. Maybe he needed to do something else.
Maybe that would have made me feel a bit better, but for me it just felt... I know they were telling the origin story, but I'm sick to death of origin stories.
Alright. What about like some more symbology, like he breaks a pool cue and scratches his back with both sides like this? Because it's...
That's not how that would have been funny.
It's pointing towards where he's going, but at the same time, not quite.
And the movie may not have worked as much. I mean, the love story probably would... If you didn't give the love story as much time as they did give it, it probably wouldn't have been as...
People would have thought it's like the beginning of Star Wars, where the characters have these stories that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah, a little bit. But I still didn't care. Like, it seemed too happy ending for me as well. But the thing was, I just didn't care as much about the love story as much.
Yeah.
That much. Like, they spent all this time on it, and yet I still was going, well, that's all fine and dandy, but this is not why I came to watch a Deadpool movie.
True. It's not why you come to watch a Deadpool movie. But maybe they're planning... Maybe they've got stuff set up for the sequel.
Maybe.
It requires this.
And like I said, this movie still is... Like, I still enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie. There's just little nitpicks of mine that made me feel like... There's things that I felt like... No. Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
And I'm not like the be-all and end-all on this, and my ideas may not even be better ones than what I'm saying here. But a lot of the cutting away from that rooftop scene felt like they were like, we don't have as much movie as we thought we did.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. But at the same time, I think the flashback stuff, in my opinion, was quite good. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was useful plot. And
it was.
They had some good jokes in it, and they set up a lot of his silliness as a... Like, it's not just... He got his sense of humour from the drugs.
Yes, and that's what I did like about the flashbacks.
Although,
they said
that could have been funny. Because he's specific... Like, it's basically no humour beforehand, makes one joke, gets told, after this you'll have no humour, and then becomes, like, hilarious jackass. That could have been funny as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made as much sense though.
No.
And they're trying to real world Deadpool as well, and I think they've done a good job of that.
Yes.
Which is why all that sort of stuff worked, and why the changing of it being a Weapon X to just some random.
No.
Still technically could be.
No, it is still Weapon X because he mentions that they've done something to someone else with healing powers, which would be Wolverine.
Could be.
Well,
it wasn't obvious. It just didn't feel like.
Because if you look at Wolverine as well, he was controlled.
True.
Through mind chip. He has the healing powers, which is originally where Deadpool gets his from. And I guess the side effects thing isn't the same. And it talks about him mutating. So he is a mutant. Whereas with Wolverine, he has the healing powers and they put metal on his bones as opposed to turning him into a mutant.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. That does make a lot more sense.
So I reckon they were still referencing Wolverine, but at the same time, basically being, if you know what we're talking about, we're referencing it. If you don't know what we're talking about, sucked in. Which is what a bunch of the jokes were. Like, the Deadpool was originally a Weapon X thing.
Yes, I did know that.
Not a bar thing.
That change didn't really bother me.
Yeah, and him making jokes about, like, oh yeah, we should go become part of the X-Men so our house blows up every few years. To which Colossus replies, a blowing up house is character building.
That was good. And I liked when he goes to the Xavier's school, like, and knocks on the door. He's just like, it's almost like they couldn't afford any more X-Men.
Yeah. And they've only got one big name X-Men. Like, Colossus is the only one.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they have Xavier's name on the sign.
And they actually reference Hugh Jackman, but as Hugh Jackman, not as Wolverine.
But they do also reference Wolverine.
They do, yes.
And when they're referencing Wolverine, they're using an Australian accent, which is a reference to Hugh Jackman.
Yes,
like it's
more of a reference to him than I liked in the scene where he does go in to get his find his powers sort of thing when he's trying to defeat his cancer. How the Francis guy says we should stitch your mouth up,
which he says we shouldn't do that, but he's already referenced that earlier in the plot and asks to not have a green or an animated super suit.
That was great.
Yeah, and then there's nothing in there that he did. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but there was some other hilarious stuff in those scenes where he's just basically like, you're an idiot, basically.
Oh, those references were good and very funny.
I'll spell it out for you at the end.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh, because the guy keeps asking what's his name and he eventually doesn't want to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said it a bunch of times, but then at the very end he's like, I'll spell it out for you. And does.
With buddies.
Which is how Deadpool should spell anything.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited for it. Like, for when they do release the next ones.
What I'm excited about is they laid a good foundation for what the character is, did the character right. Ryan Reynolds just looked like he was having the time of his life.
Yeah, he's basically said he never wants to play anyone other than Deadpool.
Particularly superheroes.
Well, in there. But I think if he could get away with it, he would just walk around as Deadpool permanent.
I think so too. What I liked is that the direction was really done well.
Yep.
They understood the character. They played the character right. The references weren't over the top to the X-Men. Well, they were done, but done with smaller characters in smaller ways so that you're not trying to
jam too many big
heroes in and stuff like that, but set up so that the next movie will be all of the stuff that I liked with him in the red suit, basically. Yeah. So I think there will be a lot more stuff of him in the red suit and on when they're on the top of the what's it called? The freeway. And the ship. Yeah. Both of those, actually.
Oh, one thing I will say, when they were doing the final pan-out scene where you're saying it's a pan-out scene, I would have loved for him to say, shot by a drone, because it obviously was, and then flip the camera onto a black and red drone. With, one of his eyes as, an attachment over the camera. Just, so you can see, if I could fire this a bit through my... Just... to make that additional fourth wall right at the very end.
I think that's going back into our
Wanting
too much of the fourth wall breaking and too much of that comedy, which may have a lot more in, like you said, in the second one and hopefully third and fourth.
Because he didn't actually state very much that he's in a movie. I'm not sure if he ever said it at all.
No, but he, without stating it, stated it.
Yeah, but in the comics, there are times where he straight up says, like, I'm in the comic, or has an argument with the actual artist.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that they wanted to do straight up. That might be something down the track. I still don't think...
It is too different from what people... the general public going into a movie is going to
I think it also...
freak out.
That doesn't translate as well to film and would distract too far.
Yeah, but this was the final scene where he's already saying, now we're having a gratuitous just panning out. Like, it was just literally him telling you that he's panning the camera out, and then it just kept going. Yeah. And just kept going.
And the post-credit scene was great.
Yes.
Him in a bathrobe. Telling us, what are you still doing here?
But it's not just him in a bathrobe. He's in his suit. In a bathrobe. So, yeah.
Telling us, to get out. To pick up your rubbish.
Yeah, that was good. I'm not sure he's massive on public service announcements, but it's a valid one to have in a movie.
Very valid.
Although, they did have a public service announcement before the movie, which wasn't about, what I expected. Because they didn't do the turn off your phones one. They basically... I can't remember what it was, but it was something different.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now either.
Because often they have characters doing it. So they should have had him basically everyone shut up, pay attention, I'm in charge now. Yeah. Turn your phone off. Or I'll come kill you. Because that's basically what he would say.
That would be cool.
Alright.
We can't have everything.
No.
But in saying that, movie was good. We didn't get everything we wanted, but that doesn't mean the movie wasn't good. And most of our gripes, well, they're mostly mine.
Mostly yours, yeah. I'm a bit more relaxed than you are.
Were just little things. That didn't actually make it a bad movie. It just took it from being a great movie to a good movie for me. And that's not just, it was just a step down from a great movie. For me.
For me, it took it from my version of the movie to someone else actually made the movie.
Yeah, that's...
Which, guess what? I haven't made any movies. So... That's my fault. Sorry, guys, it's my fault.
Alright.
Cool.
I think we've talked long enough. I'm sure we probably could talk for a lot longer, but...
Probably.
Thank you for watching, if you did, and you put up with us for... What are we at? We're 28 minutes now?
That's a long video.
I'm going to... Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so, because he doesn't like saying it, I say you should subscribe if you like what we got, and let us know what kind of other videos you'd like to see, which movies you think have come out previously that we should talk about.
That you want us to ramble on about, like we just did.
Yep.
Comment them in... I'm pointing down because that's normally where it all is, I think. Comments are down here. They're down there somewhere. Comment there if you have any movie that you love that you want us to talk about and ramble on because you somehow enjoyed this.
Yep. And we will be doing more throughout the rest of the year. I think the next one we're planning on doing is Batman Superman.
There might be one before that. I'm not 100% sure. We have to double check on that.
But we will be doing Batman vs Superman.
Well, we're definitely doing that. Think of any big tentpole film or sci-fi film we're going to try and do.
And if it's fantasy, I'll be seeing it anyway. And I'm very clever. I can make sure any fantasy movie is actually science fiction. Just one gyrocopter will be all that's required in Warcraft.
It'll be a movie for him that I'll go see anyway. And so he'll probably do more of the talking.
Yeah.
And the nitpicking, and I'll just be like, yeah, it's a good movie! I'm more of a sci-fi fan.
No, you'll be like, I hated how they shot that film, because you're the actual film nerd, and I just like science fiction and fantasy. And so the books are mine back here, and
everything else is mine.
The non-books are his. So I read fantasy and science fiction.
I read comic books.
Yeah, I read novels, including classics, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's called The Universe... Yeah, this is gone serious.
We're still talking. So if you've made it this far, I'm going to say it again. Subscribe. I think it's a thumbs up. Like it, thumbs... I don't know, whatever it is. Like it, thumbs up it.
Share it. Share it
if you really like it. Tell your friends. Comment below any video that you... Any movie, not video. movie that you want us to ramble on about.
Or TV series, because we will do
TV
like
series.
The Expanse and those kind of...
And
We'll probably do a video about Killjoys and Dark Matter just pre-season, before we, like, about season
we
one.
We won't do individual seasons, episodes, we'll do full seasons.
Or major plot changes. Including if they screw something up.
Yes.
So, kind of the event, like Red Wedding for Game of Thrones, kind of event level. He doesn't know what that is, but that's fine.
No, because I don't watch that.
I've read it, so that's perfectly fine. If you like fantasy, The Red Wedding.
Okay, we've rambled on long enough, I think.
That's it. That's done.
That's us.